Shout out to Thunderdome Boxing Talk. Reappearing out of nowhere. He's on fire right now too. Running down video after video. Other shout outs to my man Duke Odin, 7458. Gotta ask him what that 7458 means. I think I may have asked him before and just didn't. Can't remember what he told me if I did. To my man CMD Boxing Reports, keep doing it, man. To some listeners, Aldo Vergara. We're gonna go with Aldo from now on until he corrects me and tells me how to pronounce the last name. I don't know if I did it right or not. To my main man, made man. My man Paul Gant. Go for it, Gant. Check him out. To Paul Paparazzi Jones. Round by Round Boxing. To my man Robert Uzel. To my homie Brendan Taylor over there at True School Sports. Terrell Van. To Wood That God TV. I hope I said that right. Nicola Ferrari. Nicola Ferrari. I'm going to chalk it up to that until I'm told to pronounce it a different way. Foul Pole Boxing. What's happening? Alright. Just wanted to let some folks know I appreciate either watching their channels or just chatting it up with them. So let's start with Friday night's fights from Oxon Hill, Maryland, MGM National Harbor. Teofimo Lopez. Next up for him is a title shot. So Lopez passed what we'll call the toughest test of his young career as he defeated previously undefeated Masayoshi Nakatani, okay, via unanimous decision or via unanimous decision, wherever what part of the world you're from. He did it, what, 118, 110, 119, 109, and I forgot what the other score was. I think it was like the same as one of those two that I just read. So that was for the IBF lightweight world title eliminator. So he gets to face Richard Comey next for a title shot. Okay, there were about 2,100 fans there. The place seats about, I want to say 2,200, something like that. So pretty much a sellout. They call it the theater there at the MGM National Harbor. So this was the first time that Lopez had gone past 7 rounds. So I think it served him well that it went the distance. He moved to 14-0, 11 knockouts, and as I stated, he'll face Comey. Against Nakatani, I mean, he had to work hard, and he didn't get the knockout. We didn't get the Fortnite dance and the backflip and all that, which I still thought he should have done to celebrate his victory, but I understand. The height and the reach were major issues for Lopez in that fight, and fortunately for him, he won't have a lot of that in this division unless he fights a Robert Easter Jr. Or something like that. And a lot of people were critical of Lopez, and let's be honest, it wasn't his best. Listen, Lopez fought a guy nobody really followed, nobody knew a lot about. I saw some tape on him, and I thought he was ripe for the picking. If you go back to the pre-fight video I did, I mean, and Lopez's team probably didn't watch the fight I saw. But I chose the fight. He fought a guy who was a couple inches shorter than Teofimo, named Hurricane Futa, or Futa, however you want to pronounce it, Futa. And Hurricane was a handful for Nakatani, who kind of needed some assistance from the referee in that fight. And Hurricane came at him like a hurricane, and this is what I thought. This is what I thought Teofimo would do. I thought he would fight him the same way Hurricane fought him, because Hurricane found some success. But what wound up happening with Lopez is he kept throwing the same pattern of shots, and although many of them got in, Nakatani started to see what was coming, and he saw the pattern. And sometimes he was spot on with catching what he needed to do, but he didn't have the power. He tried to fire it back. He just didn't have the power to shake Lopez up the way he wanted to. And that's the case of a guy building a record up and having some knockouts, but then when he faces a real opponent, it's like, well, you determine if his power is real or if it's not. It happens a lot with Colombian fighters, and most of the time we find out their power was real. So in the end, I thought Lopez did what he had to do. Just because he didn't impress like he always has doesn't mean he was exposed like Timothy Bradley Jr. kept claiming off camera. I don't know what Bradley was saying on camera, but he got into a heated debate with the guys to the right and to the left of him. And most of the people left the arenas, but there was a walkout bout. So during the walkout bout, that's when a lot of people walk out the arena, but there's still one fight left after the main event, or two fights, or what have you. And so that person walks out to an empty arena, pretty much. You could hear, he was still mic'd up and had the headset on, so but you could hear Bradley, like the fighters probably could hear him while they were going at it in the ring. But man, Bradley was adamant, saying this kid was exposed. And I don't know if Bradley thought Teofimo lost. I'll have to maybe somehow catch a replay. But man, he was letting Teofimo have it. And in my opinion, the best thing to happen to Teofimo is that he went 12 rounds, especially before his big test coming up. That'll serve him well when he faces Comey. And listen, that fight will be completely different than the one Friday night. Comey and Lopez will be all about the high-scoring offenses. You know, think the 1999 St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf, versus the 2007 New England Patriots, who were 16-0 in the regular season. Okay, it's a shootout. It's not going to be like this fight, and they'll both be at close to each other as far as height is concerned. Don't know about the reach. I'll look it up later. One thing you probably didn't see on TV, which Teofimo told us about live, is he's having some kind of trouble with his leg. And so the media was, the way that the arena is configured, the media is on a stage at the MGM National Harbor. Trust me, if you ever go there and money is tight, there's not a bad seat in the place. Just buy the cheapest tickets available. Trust me. So as he's walking down the steps from the stage, he kind of pulled up in pain and rolled over to his side, and he's like grabbing his leg. So somebody's like, get him some water, he's cramping. But it wasn't a cramp. It wasn't cramping. It's something, in my opinion, that may require investigation. I don't know what it is with his leg. Maybe that contributed. Maybe had he won by knockout, he still might not have done the backflip. But something's going on with Teofimo Lopez's leg. I don't know if he said it or if anyone said anything on the air about it, but if they didn't, remember where you heard it first. In the co-feature, Subriel Matias stopped Maxim Dadashev following the 11th round of a junior welterweight or super lightweight title eliminator. So that was also a title eliminator. Matias, it was up big at the time. He was up 109, 100, 108, 101, 107, 102. So he's now the top contender for the belt held by Josh Taylor. After the fight, Dadashev was taken to a local hospital where he underwent brain surgery. And it's not a great outlook for him. You know, he's in our prayers. We wish him the best. We hope he pulls through. But just listening to the doctor's comments, he said he had severe brain damage on the right side. And Matias, the southpaw, that's where a majority of their shots landed. So they were swelling, but serious brain damage. So he had the surgery. He's in a coma now, and we hope for the best for Dadashev. And many people are online and just videos, media, what have you, newspaper. They're calling James Buddy McGirt a hero for stopping the fight and potentially saving Dadashev's life. Let's pray that happens. McGirt said, I'd rather have them be mad at me for a day or two than to be mad at me for the rest of their lives. And, when he talked about stopping fights. Great point. However, there's many people who are praising McGirt as a hero for stopping the fight. You're going to have the other half of the world who will say McGirt allowed him to take a beating a few rounds too many. Can't win there, boy, I tell you. Heavyweight prospect Cassius Chaney. He's trained by Calvin Ford, Gervonta Davis's trainer. He moved to 16-0 with 10 knockouts as he knocked out Joel Caudle. Now, this fight, and I'll try to remember to leave a video below if you didn't see it. It looked like it looked like Joshua Ruiz too. I mean, Chaney is tall and put together, and Joel is just fat boy. And but in this case, the muscular giant won the fight, and he knocked Joel out of the ring. And I shot a video of it, and the second. Instead of putting my video up, I'm just going to find this little stock video online. The second replay just showed it from an angle where my man's feet just went straight up in the air. He just went head first out of the ring. But he was all right. I don't know if they mentioned it on television, but you get a 20 count when you get knocked out of the ring. And like when Bernard Hopkins got knocked out of the ring and pretended his ankle was twisted because he didn't want any more of that heat from Joe Smith Jr. So Joel got back into the ring and he came back to fight, but eventually was stopped. So, also on the card, so keep an eye on Cassius Chaney. Got a lot of work to do, but got to win on Friday night. Hometown fighter Dusty Hernandez Harrison, or Dusty Harrison. He stopped Juan D'Angel in the 7th round of a middleweight bout. So Dusty's going to be on the show for a little while. He has some charges he has to deal with outside the ring, and there was a plea agreement for, I believe, 18 months. So, of course, the judge could sentence him to less time or to more time. And considering this was a gun offense and his second gun offense that we know of in his lifetime, he's lucky it wasn't a minimum 5-year plea agreement. So I guess, well, I'm not going to say it the way I want, but I guess it just pays to be Dusty. Let's put it that way. Okay. Let's talk Pacquiao versus Thurman Jr. Now, on this channel, we've been saying for at least 3 years on this channel that there's something going on with Keith Thurman Jr.'s chin. And I've always said it, and no one could, like, I mean, there was this Diego Chavez thing where he got caught early and got wobbled, but nobody was trying to hear it. Didn't hear anyone agree with that. But it came to light Saturday. Well, sort of, on Saturday. Thurman got dropped with a right hand from Pacquiao, right on the chin. Boom. Down goes Thurman. Down goes Thurman. It was a flash knockdown, though, and Keith got up after a few seconds. No problem. He wasn't on wobbly legs or anything. But answer me this. When has Pacquiao dropped anyone with a right hand to the chin? I'll wait. Thurman will get dropped again in the future, and it will be a shot to the chin. You can take that to the bank. I'm surprised he's going this far without it happening. But Danny Garcia is a left hooker, and Thurman ducked that hook most of the night when they fought, even though that fight was close. Sean Porter is just too wild and smothers his own punches to land that big right hand. His right hands were kind of like short right hands. So, but I'm telling you, it's coming again for Thurman. Thurman's nose got busted and bled during a couple rounds, and I can't tell you how hard it is to fight through that. So, credit to Thurman. Credit to his team. After that, Manny started opening up, and while Thurman Jr. landed some hard shots of his own, it wasn't enough. I thought Keith made a nice run between rounds 6 through 9. You know, with a couple rounds that were debatable, but I thought he probably won those 3, and I'm like, okay, we got to fight now. But then Manny came back strong in the 10th round and put his offense together. And Thurman tried to respond, but he was doubled over by a body shot. And we knew that, you know, if you catch him in the right spot on the body, this is what happens. And Thurman, part of the reason is Thurman, he blows up between fights. And a lot of times he uses a majority of his camp to make weight. He gets his sparring in. I'm not sure how much running he does. But he got doubled over with a body shot, and he started to take a knee. You got to watch it real close. He took a couple steps back, and he was getting ready to go down to take a knee, but Manny didn't press him, so Thurman just kind of stayed up, and then he got on his bike. And but he's a thinking man in there. Thurman is, and while Manny doesn't move like he used to, he can still give you an angle or two with his punches. And when he throws the combinations, you know, they're still fast, yet unorthodox. So even though he was taking shots, he was outworking Keith to an extent. I didn't score the fight when I was watching. I thought when Thurman got hot, he made it closer before Manny pulled away. And I'm not a big Thurman fan, but I respect him for hanging in there. He's got some heart. I'll give him that. You know, his flaws have been exposed in some fights, but he keeps fighting until the end. Remember, he got hurt to the body against Louis Collazo and then came back and won that. Even though I think Louis Collazo might have took a few extra dollars to quit in the following round, but some things I observed. Keith, you might want to leave the wife in the arena and not in the dressing room before the fights. I mean, all this kissing, and every time the camera got on Keith, he kind of grabbed his wife and kissed her, and it was almost as if people from her country didn't totally believe the marriage was real, and they had to do something to prove it. And then when the camera came on him, he kind of kissed her. I mean, it just seemed weird. I'm not saying that's what it was. It just seemed weird. Take a drink, take a sip of a little bit of water right here. Hold on for a second. Okay. Then you got Adrian Broner out there snitching. So if what he said is true about Keith and his boys hanging out late and gambling with him, Keith might want to stay a little more focused in his next one. So Adrian, what do you have to say about Keith Thurman and his fight with Manny Pacquiao?
Because I'm not Adrian Broner. He got his ass cooked. He got cooked.
Adrian, you didn't go down like that, huh?
He got cooked.
Are you surprised?
I told everybody he was going to get cooked. Shit, that motherfucker was gambling with me at 4 in the morning. I had to kick him out the casino.
Who was gambling with you?
Thurman, 2 nights in a row.
No.
Stupid.
No.
Stupid. Hey, listen, he was with 6 or 8 niggas. I said, all y'all some bitch ass niggas, cause y'all letting him come down here and he got the biggest fight of his life. Wow. He could change your life, all y'all life, and y'all got him right here gambling. Y'all all some bitch ass niggas.
What did he have in that fight when he came back?
He got cooked. I don't care about that. He got cooked.
What's that?
He almost wanted to quit too. I seen some quit in him too.
You know, I'd like to see all undefeated boxers who are champions or are better than contenders. I'd like to see all of them lose their O. Then we really get the good fights we want. You know, losing an O is not the worst thing. Ask Julian Williams. Ask Tony Harrison. Shit, ask Joe Louis or Ray Robinson. So you also got to ask what's next. For Pacquiao, he'll have one eye on Porter versus Spence Jr. But the only reason, as we said on this channel multiple times, the only reason he should have come back to boxing in the first place was for the biggest payday available. So we'll see if he can get Floyd Jr. to sign for a rematch. You know, Manny was a bit past it when they first fought. that there was a fight that probably should have happened in 2009 or so, 2010. Floyd Mayweather Jr. didn't want to fight back then, and so time went by, and Manny got more mileage on him, and then got starched by Marquez, and I guess the time was right shortly thereafter. So so Manny was a bit past it when they first fought, but they're both past it now. And to be honest, I'd like to see Manny retire on top right now, but it's not in his DNA, so he'll fight on, maybe due to financial problems on top of everything. Floyd Jr. will need money soon, and hopefully he'll fight someone with a pulse and not give us another clown show. He's been enabled by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, so odds are it'll be nonsense coming our way. But I couldn't care less if him and Pacquiao fought again, but I'd take it just for them too at this point. For Thurman, he says he wants a rematch. I gotta be honest, I don't want to see it. The only person I would want to see Manny fight is Floyd Jr. Only because Manny needs the big payday, and it's a fight he can win, despite whatever USADA corruption goes on leading up to the fight. If not, I wish Manny would stop, or at worst, defend his title in the Philippines and call it a day. Thurman has Broner out there who can't seem to shut up. There's also Amir Khan. There's Lipinets. There's Andre Berto, who won't go away. So Thurman might consider getting a fight in at the end of the year and then getting right back at it in the first quarter of 2020. I think that would be a plan. You also have Juice Young out there, who scored an upset over Saddam Ali. You got Saddam Ali out there. You got Jamal James. You know, guys who can push Thurman and go rounds, but who are certainly beatable. So we'll see. You know, one thing I like about Top Rank ESPN commentators is they always talk about fighters in general, no matter if they're Premier Boxing or Golden Boy or DAZN. They mention their names as potential matchups, and I really like that because it's about boxing. But once again, Premier Boxing shows its true colors by not showing Terrence Crawford as one of the champions when they highlighted the images on the board. It's like, come on, man. When is this going to stop? Dillian White got a good win over the weekend, but he was overweight. He got dropped by Oscar Rivas, who is basically Daniel Jacobs when it comes to the biggest fights. He does some good work, but not enough in the eyes of the judges. White still hasn't learned to throw the right hand. He kind of pushes it. And his left hook is his money shot, but the right leaves a lot to be desired. He does have a busy jab, as my man Duke Olden pointed out when we were kind of chatting back and forth while they were fighting. And but he has to come in shape in his next fight, which will more than likely be a title shot, unless they do one of those double eliminator things, which wouldn't shock me. Here's also what may happen. He's been Deontay Wilder's mandatory for 2 years. Team Wilder has always sidestepped him. So if Wilder beats Louis Ortiz, they may make him the franchise champion, and then move White from interim champion to regular champion, just like they did with Jamal Charlo. Here's a belt for nothing. And then Wilder can avoid White as he's been doing, and there will be no penalty if he's the franchise champion. I tell you what, can that Artur Szpilka give you your money's worth when he gets knocked out, or what? My God. I mean, Szpilka against Kaunacki, Szpilka against Wilder, and on Saturday, Szpilka versus Derek Chisora. Man, that Chisora knockout was scary. Scary, man. I'll leave it below if you didn't catch it. But Big Art, a toast to you. You delivered the entertainment for us once again on Saturday. I think Keith Thurman should take a little time off and then decide if he wants to chase money or legacy. Manny Pacquiao could do what he wants, but Thurman needs to get with his brain trust to plot the next move. I hate to sound backwards, but once again, if we can get more undefeated guys to lose their O, I'm telling you, we get some great fights more often. No question. A loss will either bring out a newfound hunger in Thurman Jr., or it's going to break him. So we'll see. Adrian Broner's become a bit of a sideshow, but if he fights Ivan Redkach and wins, he and Thurman would be a good one, because AB would train hard for that. And it would be great if they had like 3 all-access shows to lead up to it, because that would be, and a few press conferences, because the back and forth between those two, man. So Broner is calling him out, saying he'd destroy Thurman. But the contradiction is, in one of those same interviews, he talked about not fighting at 147 anymore. So, I mean, which one is it, Adrian? You want Thurman, or you want to be at 140? So we got Gervonta Davis versus Roberto Nunez, and we also got a good one in Texas. Man, more than likely the better matchup. You got Maurice Hooker. You got Jose Ramirez. Man, that is going to be, it's like Duran Hearns, it's like Hagler Hearns. You got the shorter guy, that's the pressure guy, and he's coming, and he's not going to take a step backwards. And then you got the taller guy who's trying to keep you at the end of things on it with his jab, but he's got a big right hand that he can time you with. So I expect the fireworks in that one. That on paper, man, that's an awesome fight. So, and these are 2 guys with O's. So this is just great. This is a great fight for boxing. And somebody's going to leave with an O. But then again, you never know, because Maurice Hooker already has, what, 3 draws, 4 draws? So we'll see. But so make sure you check out these fights on Saturday, and we'll catch you on the next one.